Dio Brando is one of the most popular not only JoJo characters, but anime characters of all time. But with a lot of the other popular anime characters, even though there are a lot of good critical analysis of Dio, there are a lot of general misconceptions that cloud most of what people see Dio's character as. And really, for most of this video, I'm going to hone in on one point, which is no matter the circumstances you put the character, the soul of Dio Brando in, it is very limited circumstances you get a Dio that is even close to good. And even when he's good, he's still acting in selfish reasons and actions. Now, this whole video literally stems from one of these photos I saw where it was Dio's mother holding him, comforting him, I guess. And it's him as an adult in part 3. And I was just thinking to myself, like, wow, I don't know if Dio would allow himself to be comforted by his mother by that point. Really, I need y'all to understand something. Dio is not stupid. And even when he was a child, y'all saw how much disdain he had for his father. That's because he literally hated his father more than he hated anyone else in the world. He thought of him as street trash. Nothing. Literally. And his mother, although he did love her, he did not like her at all because she stayed with fucking street trash. But that's one scenario, the main universe scenario, which I will get more back into that in a little bit. Let's talk about the SBR verse. And when we talk about Diego, I need to make this clear. I am talking about base world Diego. I am not talking about alternate universe Diego. Sorry, I need a cookie before I get into Diego's backstory. But essentially the story goes, base world Diego's parents didn't want him and they threw him in the river. But then his mom had a change of heart, jumped into the river to try to save the baby and ended up saving him. And his dad said, good riddance to both of you, and then just walked off. And so I'm pretty sure they're found by like a farmer or a shelter or something of that sort. And they go to live there. But while living there, Diego's mom gets harassed, essayed, and ends up she has to use her hands to hold scalding hot soup so Diego can eat because they wouldn't give her another bowl. And the year after that, she got tetanus and died. Yeah. But her death and what she said to Diego at the end, which was basically telling him to redirect all of his anger and all of his talents into horse jockey racing because she noticed that he was just naturally gifted at it. But again, this is the important part. You need to notice what fuels Diego. Diego is fueled by all the people who looked down on him and the farmer because he believed that since his mother had 3rd-degree burns on her hands, she was just open to infections and germs, which again, she was. So the farmer indirectly caused her death. And I say that because throughout the 2 variants we see, one Dio, which was the original Dio, who is very evil and goes down a path of completely abandoning his humanity, and the other Dio who has absolutely nobody and was taught by his mother, and through his mother was told to use his talents on something that could make him a living, make him happy, and something he was talented at. One thing remained the same. In both stories, he absolutely despised people who looked down on him. Now again, to a lot of people who actually read the manga and are actually tapped into the story, that may not seem like such a big thing that people are missing, but I really do feel like that is a big thing people are missing. Because when we're talking about Dio, you have this sort of subsection of people who would really believe that some sort of love would have saved Dio. Not Diego. I'm not talking about Diego right now. I'm talking about Dio. When that's just not the case. No matter, even if his mom was alive, that would have never saved him. Even if his father still lived, that would have never saved him because he wanted power. Power. He was a power-hungry person even through the time we first see him. That's why part 1, it isn't really even about the Joestars per se for Dio. It's more so about gaining power. Why do you think his goals flip from I'm going to become rich, and then once I become rich, I'm going to own this whole estate, the whole Joestar estate, and then after that, and then, you know, Jonathan's dad dies, he's like, I'm going to take over the damn world with my vampire army. And then once we get to part 6, it becomes, I'm going to open my own version of heaven for all of you humans and mortals to see. Well, not necessarily, you know, see the outcome, but like see what's happening as he opens this gate to heaven, and he tells Poochie the exact instructions to go and do this thing and carry out this plan, which, you know, of course he didn't directly tell Poochie, but Poochie found out through getting his diary through Jotaro's memory, which is actually crazy to think about. Imagine living in a world so fucked up you can't even read a diary without it being a chance 10, 15, 20 years later it will come back to haunt you in the past. I think the thing I love about Dio so much is the one consistent thing that Araki kept from part 1 through part 7 was literally, I want more power. I want this power, this untapped potential. I want all of it.
What?
Like literally, Diego, I'm pretty sure he entered the steel ball run race to get more influence and win the cash prize. I want power, I want influence, I want people following me. I want to be viewed in this sort of special way because I have these plans. The last part leaned more towards original Dio, but you get the point. Also, I don't know how people get confused on what Dio does to these young boys in this modern times. He is not doing a singular thing sexual with them at all. Him and Poochie never happened. Him and Kakyoin never happened. The only one I could probably see is Vanilla Ice. But what he was doing to them is that he was just manipulating the fuck out of them. He manipulated the fuck out of Poochie. Because you gotta remember, the first time Poochie ever meets Dio fixes his left foot. Something he himself, Poochie, was insecure about, and he could never know how Dio would even know that. But he did it. And that got Poochie beginning to trust this man who he's never met, who just popped up out of fucking nowhere while he was reading the Bible in church. Mind you, at the time, Poochie was an impressionable 15-year-old. Come on, bro. He was just purely manipulating all these people to get these flesh buds, to get this army. And it wasn't even something new. He had been doing this tactic. So when people bring up these sexual relationships between these minors, I'm just like, how would that even, why would you even think that? He's been manipulating people since part 1. He literally manipulates George's father. He manipulates George and kills him. And I feel like even with like his cocky attitude, you can even see where it like ties into the goal. Because if we're talking about really any of the parts of Dio, once he gets some type of power up or some type of extra boost, or let's say time stop just went from 5 to an extra 7 or whatever the case, because he drunk Joseph's blood, that cockiness turns whatever fight he's in into a game. Because he already feels like he has all the power. He already feels like all the cards are in his favor. He has everything. He doesn't even have to do much. I feel like that's why you have scenes where with like Polnareff repeatedly going up the stairs. Because again, he just thought it was fun to fuck with Polnareff. Because he has all the power. He has this castle. And his final form, essentially, what he believes to be his final form, is ready. He's not worried about some fucking Polnareff. I'm not worried about Joseph. I'm not worried about Kakyoin. Shit, Avdol didn't even make it to come up here and talk to me. He never saw me again after I ran him down in Egypt. I'm not worried about them. Because I have all the power. You know, and like, it's such a simple concept. And everything about this video, I feel like everything I'm talking about Dio is pretty simple. but I just feel like the simple stuff gets lost in translation as people watch part 3, part 1, any of the parts that include Dio. But if you enjoyed the video, make sure you leave it a like, comment, and subscribe. We're on the road to 2K, and we're honestly getting pretty damn close. So until next time, peace.